Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another Quran moment. I'm now calling them Quran steps, so they match up with anybody who wants previous videos. They're on YouTube under Quran steps. Today's the Monday, 5th September 2016, the third day of Dhul Hijjah. And Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. We'll begin with the Takbir, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd, to remind us to do this great act of remembering Allah during these 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. Right, just to continue with ayah number 26, I've just changed the format slightly so that the entire ayah is visible, and so that there's no misunderstanding that we're just quoting part of the ayah and it may be misinterpreted. So let's just recite the entire ayah, and then the part we're concentrating on today is in the red. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله لا يستحي أن يضرب مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها فأما الذين آمنوا فيعلمون أنه الحق من ربهم وأما الذين كفروا فيقولون ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا يضل به كثيرا ويهدي به كثيرا وما يضل به إلا الفاسقين. So we've covered all the parts of this ayah up to there. Indeed, Allah is not timid to strike an example of something, anything, مثلا ما بعوضة فما فوقها, or a mosquito or what is above it in size or in its smallness. فأما الذين آمنوا, as for those who believe, فيعلمون أنه الحق من ربهم, they know it is the truth from their Lord. وأما الذين كفروا, as for those who disbelieve, فيقولون ماذا أراد الله بهذا مثلا, what does Allah intend by this example? So the question today is, what is one of the wisdoms behind these examples? What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala respond when He says, what does He intend? So the response is, يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. يُضِلُّ, He misleads. Bihi, with this example or these examples in the Quran, كَثِيرًا, many, and He guides many people with it. So the most important thing I wanted to just give an example is a picture here. Just imagine the Quran was like a magnet, but it's a unipolar magnet. It only has the truth, and its truth is absolute. Okay, and like if it was examined to the North Pole, if you come to this magnet with your own truth, you think what you know is right, and you try to understand the Quran will reject you and misguide you. Just like a magnet, if you have the North Pole of your magnet pointing to the North Pole of another magnet, they repel each other. But if you understand and believe the Quran is the absolute truth, and you put your truth, what you understand to be true, behind you, and you come with an open mind, and you say, okay, I don't know, let me try and understand, then the Quran will guide you and attract you. And this is essentially what this part of the ayah is saying, that the Quran for some people guides them, for many people guides them, and for many people misguides them. Okay, there's another question here. If we just concentrate on the words, aren't the guided ones few? Okay, qalil. But in the Quran it says يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا, Allah misguides many, and as for the guided people, وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا, they are also many. So why did the Quran refer to the guided people as many? So if you think about the world's population today, the number of people who are Muslim in comparison to the number of people who are non-Muslims is much less. So probably a ratio of around 1 billion to 7 or 8 billion. So 1 to 7 or 1 to 8. So let's hear, this is a nice paragraph from Tantawi's tafsir. Shaykh Tantawi, لِأَنَّ أَهْلَ الْهُدَى كَثِيرُونَ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ. The people of guidance in themselves, in the total number, are huge. وَإِذَا وَصَفُوا بِالْقِلَّةِ فَبِالْقِيَاسِ إِلَى أَهْلِ الضَّلَالِ. So when we think of them as small, we think they're small in comparison to the people who are misguided. So that's one explanation. But then he gives a very nice point here. وأيضا, and also, فإن القليل, the few, من أهل الهدى كثير في الحقيقة. And this is a very beautiful point. Though you think the total number of people in who are guided are few in number, they are many in their reality. وإن قلوا في الصورة, though they may appear to be few, فوصفوا بالكثرة, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called them many, ذهابا إلى هذه الحقيقة, to point us that their weight in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as if they are many. And hence, you know, the small hadith about one of the Sahaba of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I think it was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he was very thin, and but on Yawm al-Qiyamah his weight will be incredible. So it is as if this small number of people in the eyes of God, in the eyes of Allah, are many. Another question, why is misguidance mentioned before guidance? If you look in the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in responding to the skeptics, He's saying, يُضِلُّ بِهِ كَثِيرًا. The first thing He says is He misguides many. وَيَهْدِي بِهِ كَثِيرًا. And He guides many. So the first thing He talks about is misleading, and then about guiding. And if you just listen to, I was just listening to myself when I said it in number 2, the first thing I said was that He guides many, or any Muslim, when you think about these examples, the first thing we do is we say He guides many people are guided by this example, and then we'll say many people are misguided. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has deliberately put He misleads many, He misguides many, and He first, and guides many second. Why? Why that flip? If you think about a way a human being talks, as a Muslim, we would put guides many. We want to try and defend the Quran, guides many. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has actually put misleads many first. And this really shows the incredible confidence of the Quran, and the style of the Quran is not the style of a human being, subhanallah. So the first response is aimed at the disbelievers and skeptics. So I want you to think about this question. How does someone arrogant feel when they demand something and the first response is a clear no? So somebody comes to you and they don't deserve something and they're saying, I want this, I want you to do A, B, and C. And you turn around and the first thing you say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. You will not get that. How does that person feel? He immediately feels the weight of that word. It really sticks in his throat. He says, how come you've even dared to object to me? You've not even started by saying, well, this is the reason. You just first said no. So that immediate negative response can only come from somebody who is extremely confident and assertive. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing here. It's amazing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing, He says, if you're a skeptic, then understand your skepticism is actually designed in the Quran. The Quran is designed to make you even more skeptical and mislead you. And that is there, it disheartens the disbelievers. So the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need anybody's worship. He doesn't need anybody to pray to Him. He is completely independent of our prayers, and if all of us were the best people, His kingdom would not increase, and if all of us were the worst people in the world, His kingdom would not decrease. So really the people who really need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is us as human beings. We need God's guidance, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has no time for people who are arrogant when it comes to dealing with His revelation. And subhanallah, it's just amazing, this book. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to increase us in ilm and give us the humility to benefit from the Quran. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.